Hey everybody, it's Michael Colomb,
And Andrew Giarusso.
and you're hanging with Mike and Andy. Okay, so Andy, um, this is our third podcast. I'm actually
I
really
know.
excited.
I know. We've got some great things ahead.
Dude, we keep getting the best guests, and I'm just gonna use this as a quick segue to bring in our next amazing guest. It's AJ Martinson. Did I say that right?
Yep.
I just did it. I just looked at it phonetically. So yeah, so we had an awesome guest on our last podcast, and everybody loved it, and we got great feedback. So we just want to keep having more awesome guests on the show. So no pressure, AJ, but you got to be amazing.
I
No.
better step up, huh?
That's
We
right.
Yeah, we appreciate you hanging out with us. So you did a documentary about ophthalmology in Ethiopia. Let's just go right into it.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah. So for the last 3 years, I've been working on this film. It's called The End of Blindness. It's the incredible true story of Dr. Samuel Bora, who's the only ophthalmologist for 3 million people in rural Ethiopia. It's an incredible, emotional, heartfelt tale that's going to restore your faith in humanity. I'm excited. It's going to launch on November 16, and I'm excited to share it with the world.
Well, we watched it and we loved it. And Andy, well, I keep talking. Sorry, Andy's really big in documentaries. So Andy, why don't you talk about what you thought about?
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, the first thing was like it was truly amazing to watch your work come together, and trying to find this one guy who's trying to help millions and millions of people. It's truly amazing. Um, One of my favorite documentaries is called God Grew Tired of Us. I don't know if you've heard of that. Um, but it's kind of the same format of just people who just aren't given the chance to better themselves or be in positions where they're able to afford healthcare. And Dr. Samuel is a truly amazing guy. So it's like, really my question for you is like, how did you find him? How did you hear about him? um, how were you given that chance to really pick his brain and follow him around?
Yeah. So this project has deep roots in my filmmaking career. I've actually been working with the nonprofit, volunteering with them since I was 16. The nonprofit that sponsors Dr. Samuel is Tropical Health Alliance Foundation. And they got my start in filmmaking. They handed me a camera at 16 and said, go make us a little short piece in Ethiopia about a foot disease called podoconiosis. And so I've been working with them for a long time, and they brought me out to Ethiopia again to film for their eye projects. This was in around 2017. And when I got out there, they introduced me to Dr. Samuel, and I was blown away by his character. You talk about people not having the opportunity to better themselves. Well, Dr. Samuel started out with very little. He grew up in a rural countryside, rural village, walking to school, I kid you not, barefoot, miles and miles every day, with one pair of trousers, one shirt, and like a loaf of bread in his lunchbox. And like that was his life. And he did that every day after day, because he wanted an education. He wasn't forced to. He just wanted to get a good education to better himself. And people started to notice his drive and desire to stay in school, to get a good education. And they helped him. They helped him along the way, go all the way through medical school. He gets out of medical school. The first thing he does, instead of just staying in the capital city as an ophthalmologist making as much money as he can, he goes back to those rural villages where he grew up and decides to give back to people there. And so after talking to him for about 10 minutes in Ethiopia, when we got there, I realized this guy is amazing. He's an unsung hero. And I was going to tell his story. And so I actually told the nonprofit, I said, look, I'm going to take this on as an independent film. This isn't a nonprofit promotional piece. This is now a documentary. we'll work with you, but you are not the producers. This is my own, arena. And we're going to really tell Dr. Samuel's story and get it out there in a big way, and tell it honestly and objectively. And we did. And the nonprofit said, okay. And we went ahead and filmed with him for 2 weeks. I wasn't expecting to make a feature film, but we walked away with the End of Blindness. And I'm so excited for everyone to be able to see this film.
Definitely, yeah, it's truly an amazing film.
Yeah. And I love it because in all the introduction, you pretty much answered all my questions. So I guess the show's over. No, I'm just
Hang
kidding.
out.
Yeah, I mean, you're hanging with us anyways. So, but as someone who loves, what is Ethiopia like? And then what is it like? Like, what challenges did you face filming there?
Yeah, that's 2 great questions.
Thank you. I try.
Ethiopia is, first of all, most beautiful country I've ever been to. It is lush, it is green, and you cannot take a bad shot. So if the cinematography looks good, I that's just because Ethiopia is a gorgeous country.
Oh, nice.
It's just incredible. Every shot was amazing, and the people there are super friendly, and the food is super good. So, this was not the hardest trip I've ever taken in my life. It was really fun to go out and be in this country. And that's why I keep going back, because it's a great country to visit.
Yeah.
But we did face challenges. The biggest challenge I faced personally as a documentarian is trying to do this as a feature-length doc, knowing that it wasn't just going to be some YouTube video, but without any of my crew, any equipment. This whole thing was shot on one SLR and a light that we would pass around from person to person in the on the team. And that was really tricky, because when you drop into like an OR, if I had my crew, I'd be covering that with 7 cameras. You get the tight and the wide and you shoot it all in once. But what I had to do is work with Dr. Samuel, work out a language to go, hey, okay, when I say this, you need to hold, freeze for a second. I'm going to come in, do my close up, come out, do my wide. Because when you're doing a surgery, you don't get a second take. And so there was kind of this constant panic in my head throughout the entire trip of, am I getting enough footage? Am I getting enough footage? Did I tell this story as best I can? Because we only had 1 camera. That was really challenging. And then some of the patients we were seeing, it was challenging to, just witness the suffering that they were in. Especially, we had one kid who lost his eye. And as a filmmaker, to see someone at 9 lose one of their eyes, I mean, that's my biggest fear. And that happened right in front of me, and there was nothing we could do about it. Nothing Dr. Samuel could do. It was tragic. And so that was really haunting. That stuck with me for a long time.
Oh, I imagine it would.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, amazing that you were able to do this and film it. And I mean, I was watching the documentary and I was like, now I love horror movies, but watching the actual surgeries, like, what is that like? I've just never seen something like that before. So
yeah. And that was a discussion we had, as we were like getting ready to release. Do we show this? Do we not? And kind of around the time Netflix's Surgeon's Cut came out, which does a lot of live surgery stuff, we said, okay, we have clear, precedents that people are going to be able to get through this. And we left it in because we wanted people to remember things, out of the film. We wanted that to stand out in their brain. And also, after you see the first couple of them, what I started to get wrapped up in wasn't the actual, the horror of a needle going into somebody's eye, which is terrifying, but you start to notice the mechanics of how Dr. Samuel works. And he is doing cataract surgery over there on an equal level to ophthalmologists here in the United States. We had an American ophthalmologist vouch for him. He said, I looked at his infection rate. It's the same, if not better, than what we're doing here in the US. And he's working out of convents, shipping containers. He loads his OR into a bus. So he is like,
he needs to come teach here then.
Say again?
He needs to come to the US and teach. Dang.
Well, the crazy thing is his skills and the US skills are difficult to translate, because in the US you get to do easy style cataract surgery.
Yeah.
Because the cataracts aren't as dense. They're not as clouded as they are over there, because they get operated on like instantly. So Samuel's technique is an older technique because he can't use the new modern equipment, because it was all designed for very mild cataracts. So he had to become this expert at what they call a circular capsulotomy, which is a very difficult technique. So when you're watching that surgery, he's going in there with a knife and making this perfect circular
Dang.
motion to extract the lens. That's where my head goes when I see those surgeries. It's beautiful to watch him work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty incredible just to see his technique. And even the American ophthalmologist was stated that it's a little bit more difficult, but it's a lot better practice than the one that they're using now in the States.
Yeah, especially for those thick cataracts. There's no other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so
So
cool.
now, do you know what the issue is? I guess we can call this like an epidemic. Like, why is it so common in that part of the world?
So that's a really hot button issue amongst ophthalmology circles right now. And so, without being a trained, epidemiologist,
Wait, you've seen so many surgeries and you can't do it?
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my goodness, what? Okay.
But I'll give you my best takes on it, because I've heard about 3 different variations of this. The first one is closeness to the equator. When you get down into Ethiopia, you're close to the equator and you're absorbing a lot more UV light, which is super damaging to your eyes. And of course, you don't have, here you're in UV, you go to Walmart, you buy your sunglasses, you're having a good day. That's just not possible, especially out in these rural countrysides. So UV exposure is one. More importantly, probably, is lack of access to clean water. This is the one that, we talk about in the film, and this is kind of what we think is the leading cause. When you get a stomach-borne illness from drinking river water that's contaminated, your eye gets dehydrated along with the rest of your body. And as you have that illness over and over and over again, and that's what often happens in these, rural areas, you don't have clean water, you get sick. Well, you hydrate with that same dirty water, you stay sick. And when that happens over and over again, your eye starts to crystallize and form, they think, much, much earlier. And so we were seeing 22-year-olds with the eyes of 70-year-olds.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Wow,
it's absolutely crazy. And the third one, which is more generic, is just good hygiene, good eye hygiene. There's a lot of things that are spread by, flies landing on eyes and things like that, where, it's something that needs a little bit of education and a lot more optometrists and sunglasses and things like that. So it's a combination of all 3 of those things, probably. But I think the waterborne illnesses one is, I think, the leading and most important cause that we can actually tackle. We can eventually, people could install clean water facilities and eventually help end the blindness epidemic that way, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
It makes you think, like, just how much we take for granted, on a day-to-day basis here.
Yeah.
I mean, I do travel a lot, so it's not like I've been to a third world country, so I can see the difference. But a lot of people haven't, and it's just like we live our life, and even our worst days are still better than probably their better days in a lot of ways, because and that's why I love, like, this particular documentary to me was very humbling in the sense that here's a man who has this great skill and could make all this money and just work in the city, but he literally chooses to do something and give back to his community. And like, that is, I don't know, there's just something about that I just find so humbling. It just really makes you sort of think about, that's one thing I loved about this particular, and just watching his life. And like, he leaves for a month and then he has to say goodbye to his kids. But then when he's there, he's a good father. He's a good husband. Like,
Sure.
Angels do walk this earth, you guys.
Yeah, that's true. And it's pretty amazing. I mean, when they're saying they've gotten up to, nearly 3,600 surgeries a year. I mean, when you break that down, let's say he was to do it every day in one calendar year, that's about 9.5, 10 surgeries a day. So you could only imagine the days off he's taking, and then he's going there for a month, and how many he's actually doing per day. It's truly incredible.
Yeah, he is restless and relentless when he gets into those eye clinics. I mean, he wakes up, he's doing 12-hour days, and it's not this, it comes out of this sense of just burden and dedication to the people, because 2,000 people will walk into some of these eye camps.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to,
and they're coming, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but they're coming from so far away, and just hoping that they can get seen by him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the older woman that you show, her and her husband walked like 7.5 miles.
Yep.
I have a hard time just walking around the block. I'm just
and
kidding.
she's blind.
And she's blind, I know. And so they have to go, and she's older too, which makes it even harder, so they probably stopped. Yeah, wow. That's crazy. I mean, but I'm so glad that, that she was able to get her vision back.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're one of my personal favorites. I just, when I see her, I see my grandma. There's just that relatability to that patient, and all she wanted to do is she just wanted to get back to work so she could take care of herself. That's it. There's no grand. It's just simply, I want to work, I want to eat, and I want to live. And
yeah, I just want my basic comforts met. That's all I want. Yeah.
That's all she needs. And we were able to provide that. And we were actually able, we don't talk about this in the film, but he was also going blind too. And we were able to do surgery on both of them. And so they both had great outcomes and are starting to rebuild their lives.
So do you still get to keep in touch with some of the people from the documentary?
We follow up with Dr. Samuel, through the nonprofit. We have communications back and forth. I've talked to him a few times, through the process. Hey, can you translate this line? What did you say here? That kind of thing. And he's doing well. The pandemic was really hard, for these kind of projects. But
I can
he
imagine.
started up again just recently, and he did an eye camp, another one out in the countryside. And so new precautions, new, kind of this whole new normal we're living in, but he's taking the steps he needs to so he can get back to work and get back to doing a bunch of surgeries.
That's so amazing. So do you have any, so you started at 16. Okay. So my question is, do you have any other documentaries that you're working on? Have you done any narratives? Like, what is next for AJ Martinson?
Yeah, so I come from a narrative background. My first feature-length project was called Black Mark. It's a Cold War spy thriller. You can sense the theme. I like historical, history, real life, true life story kind of things.
Yeah.
So right now I'm toying with a few ideas. I'm back in development on items. Hopefully I'll be coming out with a narrative project in the next, year or so. But really right now, I'm just focusing on getting this film out, promoting it, letting people know about it so that we can help people see through the nonprofit.
And you said it comes out on the 16th, right?
Yeah, it comes out on November 16th.
Where can the audience find it?
Yeah, so you can get all of the different links because we're going to have several streaming options at theendofblindness.com.
Okay.
If you want to get it right now, you can pre-order it on iTunes, and that link will go live on the 16th. But we'll have many more options as a rolling release starting after that. So check out theendofblindness.com for all the latest.
And we'll put that in the show notes too for the audience. So that's so exciting, man. I mean, yeah. When we were watching this movie, I was just like, it's just, yeah. There's so many amazing things that people can do, and you don't even think about it. You just go through your day, and when you see things like this, yeah, it's just very humbling. I just want to keep reminding people of that. Also, such a side note is, because some people listen to the podcast, but some people watch this, and we were all wearing Hawaiian shirts, and that's totally coincidental. It worked out that way. So I love it because, we're talking about this amazing subject, and we look like we're on vacation. I love it. See, this is what hanging with Mike and Andy is like. We're just chilling on the beach.
Casual Thursday. There we go.
Casual. Exactly. So.
Do you guys want a special quote that comes out of the bonus features on the DVD that you guys don't know about yet? This is really cool. I can give you this story.
Do it.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. So we shared on the DVD exclusively. We have this series called like bonus interviews, where the nonprofit founder is going to talk to you about like a bunch of different stuff, like everything from like the history of coffee in Ethiopia to like more details about the project. But this is my favorite quote, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So apparently he had a friend who had cataract surgery done, and he goes to his friend here in the United States. He goes to his friend and says, "You're too young for cataract surgery. Why did you have cataract surgery done?" The guy goes, "It wasn't for me. It was for my dog." Guess how much that cataract surgery cost? Just take a guess.
Here in the U.S.?
Here in the U.S. for a dog.
$45,000.
Higher.
Are you serious?
65,000.
Wait, sorry. Did you say 4,500 or 45,000?
I said No, I said 45,000.
Oh, 45,000 is way too high. My bad.
Okay.
It was $9,000 for cataract
Yeah, but that's still
surgery.
crazy.
It's
Wow,
crazy.
Yeah.
9,000, and we have the receipt. In Ethiopia, that nonprofit is sponsoring the surgeries for $50 a surgery. That's how much their cost is, and they give it away for very little, if not free, to these patients.
Yeah.
Mind is blown.
Yeah. It is mind blowing.
I know because I just had surgery recently and it was quite expensive, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Why do we do that in this country? And then we try to act like people, it's like their problem for being sick. It's so heartbreaking.
Yeah,
you know?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
And $9,000 for a dog. I mean, I had a dog and I love my dog, but that's crazy. Like $9,000.
9,000.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite.
Yeah. Now we're gonna have to pre-order.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I think everybody should pre-order because really, this is such a touching story. You know. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to like make it and share it with the world.
Absolutely.
We want only the best for you. Mike and Andy want only the best for you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I love, man. You're pretty chill. I mean, like I said, we all have these Hawaiian shirts on, so I mean, we're pretty much all in sync today.
It's a good day.
We could be Backstreet Boys, but I don't know how well you harmonize. So
I'm not the best singer.
Oh, damn it. Okay, but you said you're a good dancer, so you could still be in a boy band.
That's true. I can just do the backup dancing.
There you go. The little doo-wop thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So do you have any more questions, Andy? We want to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I mean, I guess one thing we can say is that on the website as well, I saw that there's a donation page. So our fans and everyone can go and donate to the cause, which I think is great. Mike and I, this morning, we donated as well.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, we just, we praise you for sharing this man's story, and we praise him for just having such a good heart and wanting to help others.
Yeah. And now I know where to go for cataract surgery.
Yeah.
I have good eyes, but I've always wanted to go to Ethiopia, so especially for their coffee.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is another.
Okay. Now it's getting good. Okay.
Yeah. Now it's good. No, so Dr. Samuel, the other thing about him is he's a total coffee snob.
Okay.
Ethiopia invented coffee. Like, they are the OG coffee makers.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, and apparently there was some goats or sheep, and they were getting kind of high on these coffee beans, and someone was like, maybe if I put that in a drink, other people will like this, and that's how it came about. And so you go there.
So cool.
It's the best coffee in the world. It's like it kicks all of your local brew whatever's butt. Like, it's so good. And when you go there, you have coffee ceremonies. So they're like roasting the beans in front of you, and that's just like
what? Now I gotta go to Andy. We got to do a show from Ethiopia.
Got to do it. It's so good.
I love coffee.
So good. Yeah, it's and so Samuel's a coffee snob though, so I'll have the best cup of coffee ever in my entire life. And Dr. Samuel, he'll go, let me try, and he takes a sip and goes, 2 out of 10, and he'll throw it over his shoulder, and then
you're like, but that's my coffee.
It's like, but that was so much better than anything. So I can't imagine what he tastes when he comes over here and tries whatever local thing that we're serving.
You can't imagine. You don't think that he doesn't bring his own coffee? He has to have.
He sent me home with like 3 bags in my luggage.
That's awesome.
Oh my God! Please tell me you're having a party so we can get some coffee.
Yeah. Coffee party.
Come on out. We'll do the coffee thing. That'd be
great. You're local to you're on the West Coast.
West Coast, yeah. Los Angeles.
Oh snap! We're in Los Angeles.
Dude, we should have done this live.
Yeah, we should have.
Yeah, we weren't aware. Well, where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up at? Are you
just born and raised LA?
Born and raised
yeah.
Yeah.
Really, nice. You're original.
Original.
There's not like, I'm actually not from LA, but I'm from Southern California. So I was born in Anaheim and I grew up in Riverside. So I'm definitely SoCal.
Yeah. And I am an original, just like you. I'm from San Fernando Valley, Sherman Oaks.
Nice.
Represent,
That's why we got the Hawaiian shirts on. We know.
So crazy.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, it's a vibe because Andy and I didn't know, because we're not in the same room. So we just dressed up and I turned it on. I was like, oh, we're both in Hawaiian shirts. And then you log in. I'm like, what? What are the chances? And then we and I always end up changing our background. So my background right now is a picture I took when I was in Mazatlan, but it felt very beachy. So I was like, I'm going to use it. And then Andy looks like he's living in heaven right now.
Yeah, I'm just floating. Just floating above.
You're Belinda Carlisle because heaven is a place on earth. That's funny, man. You're cool. I'm so glad we had a chance. And so how
Yeah.
long? So, and you started making it. God, I wish I could start at 16. I started late in life when it came to filmmaking.
Well, I just dropped into it. Here's a camera. Go film this foot disease.
I'm open to
But
stuff like that.
yeah, but yeah, it's been a long project in the making, and we spent 3 years in post on this thing. It's been exhausting, but I'm ready to release it. And
Wow, 3 years in post.
3 years just noodling away at the story, because we captured what we wanted to while we were
Course.
there, but we had to put the pieces together. And then we also took trips, like we went up to Washington State to interview the other American ophthalmologists.
Oh yeah, of course.
We went
Yeah.
to the Royal Society of Medicine in London to interview some of the leaders in tropical medicine there. So that was really fun, but all of that stuff had to be digested and then formatted back into the film. And of course, all the little tweaks you do, and the DVD, I kid you not, it's been a labor of love. I hope everyone checks it out, because like I encoded the thing myself. I have a stack of like 100 test discs because I found this like super secret formula to make it look like HD, even though it's an SD DVD.
Oh,
So
wow.
like, yeah, I put a lot of love into that disc. So hopefully people check it out there. It's a good experience.
I think they will. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, really, it's a really good doc, and hopefully, that as it grows, like I mean, because maybe even Netflix could pick it up. That would be kind of amazing. Because
We would
Netflix has so many documentaries.
Yeah.
Hey,
so many.
Netflix, if you're listening, there's a really good documentary you got to pick up.
Just call my boys at Passion River. Let's go.
Let's
We're
do
ready.
this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Oh man, you're a treat to talk to. So thank you for being on the show. We don't have to go. I just just think you're cool.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, you guys are fun to
no.
hang out with. This is cool.
I think we're literally one of the funnest people to hang out with. That's how the show got started. We were just hanging out. People were like, "You're fucking funny. You guys should have your own show." We're like, okay.
Yeah, okay, we'll try it out.
Yeah, you down, Andy? He's like, I'm down. So here you go. And we were just hanging out anyways. That's where the title came.
Yeah.
It really wasn't a clever story. We're just hanging out. Let's just be hanging with Mike and Andy. And it's funny because we both don't like to be called Mike. It's really funny. So like I go by Michael and he goes by Andrew, but hanging with Michael and Andrew just takes so long. So we'll just be hanging with Mike and Andy. It's kind of rolls off the tongue, I think. Wait, Andy, do you have like a little? What's on your chin? You have some
It's like
dirt
a
on your
little. Yeah, no, it's like a little goatee or something like that.
What is going on over there?
I don't know. I could really only grow this.
That's the first time I've seen that.
Mustache takes a couple years to fill in.
That's real. I just looked at that. I was like, wait a minute. What's on your? It's like you fell and put some dirt on your chin. Are you okay? And you see a doctor?
Yeah.
I know, good ophthalmologist in Ethiopia. So, well, while we're on it, so you said there's the edges. The website again for the movie was what?
The endofblindness.com.
The End of Blindness. And then where can we find you on your socials?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at director_AJM. But the film's social is at End of Blindness. And we're getting the YouTube channel through Section 3 Films, which is my production company. That's going to be up and running with a bunch of content, exclusive clips from the movie, things like that. And we're starting those uploads this week. So we're really excited.
Because the movie comes out. Oh my God, the movie comes out. Are you excited?
Dude, I'm so stoked. And like, it's just been such a long time coming. And I think it's going to resonate really well with people. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have no doubt. Yeah. Well, it's so cool for you to take time to be on our show, even though we're all in LA. So, Andy, do you have anything else?
So busy.
What'd you say?
I said he's probably so busy for us. We appreciate.
Well, I mean, with the films coming out, you probably have tons and tons of interviews.
Yeah, well, and we're still prepping all the final things and all the social stuff. It's been a wild ride. But next time we do this and hang out, we got to go get Ethiopian food down in there's Little Ethiopia here in LA.
Fairfax.
Yeah, and it's so good. Like,
yeah, I've had Ethiopian food. It's really good. I used to have a really good friend who was Ethiopian, and we used to get a lot of Ethiopian food. So I just have never been to Ethiopia specifically, and like I said, I love traveling. And Africa is one of the continents I haven't been to yet.
Yeah. You gotta go. If you pick any, I think Ethiopia is just it's tops, dude.
Okay. Well, before I book my trip, I'll check with you.
One thing that's really cool about Dr. Samuel's story that I just thought of while we were talking is like he is inspiring people in his country to become ophthalmologists. And there's actually a
That's
girl.
amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. There's a girl who like knew about his story and was involved in one of the nonprofits, like, like they had a youth hostel and they were taking care of her. And she decided after like hearing about Dr. Sammy, like, I'm going to go become an ophthalmologist just like him and give back to the people in my country just like him. And
That's
so
amazing.
we're like watching her and seeing, because we need so many more ophthalmologists there. Like if he's like San Bernardino, you guys are from LA, like San Bernardino.
I would live
They
down
have, like,
Riverside, so I know San Bernardino.
yeah, they've got 134 ophthalmologists for like 2 million people.
Yeah.
And they're like underserved medically.
Yeah.
He's the only guy for 3 million.
That's
So-
that's
Yeah.
I
But,
don't even
like,
know I don't even know how to grapple that. It's like my mind does not compute. Yeah.
so like my biggest hope for that is that, someone sees this and is inspired, that like, look, like we put him on blast, like look at this hero, and that makes someone be like, wait, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
I want that. It's like, I want to do good and help people too. And they become and like live in Ethiopia as an Ethiopian ophthalmologist. Because there's a lot of people working there right now and it's awesome, but they're coming in for like 2 weeks and flying back to the US, flying home. We need more Ethiopians to be
Yeah.
Ethiopian ophthalmologists.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you have a nice follow-up documentary because like, this young girl that's trying to be I mean, what a great story that would be.
Right? See the from the start to the finish of her, like her
Yeah.
path. So that might be, the pandemic put a kibosh on any travel over there, and hopefully
that's
soon
true.
enough I'll be back and we can do whatever comes next with this story. Certainly, I want to film a couple more things and post follow-ups. And
Yeah. Well, then you can call it
that'll-
because this one was called The End of Blindness, so that one could be called The Beginning of Sight.
Yo,
Nice sequel. You heard it here
Dude.
first.
You just dropped the title. That's
know.
that's the one. That's the one right there.
But because it's a nice progression, and I don't know, but just the fact that there's this young Ethiopian female that's doing it, like, it's just, especially where we are now, that just that would be an awesome follow-up.
Yeah,
I think Andy and I should help you with that.
Yeah, you guys want to come? Let's do it.
So here's the thing, and Andy knows this. I would literally just, if you were like, hey, you want to go to Ethiopia tomorrow? I would literally just be like, okay, bye. I love traveling. It's like my sanctuary. So I love seeing the world. It just keeps me so grounded because, like I said, we live in a country of so much excess and we take so much for granted. And because I'm a writer and a filmmaker as well, and I just get so inspired just from seeing other places. So that's why I'm like, well, where are we going next? That's literally like when I wake up every day, I'm like, where am I going to go next? So that's how
I
we
love
go.
that. I'm the exact same way. Like the travel is lifeblood, and that's why the last couple of years have been so difficult because like you're stuck. You're stuck. I had 2 documentaries that were supposed to film in Europe cancel on me because of the pandemic, and I'm so pissed.
But it's opening up there now, right?
Yeah, they went ahead. It's this art historian I work with that does really cool like documentaries on Da Vinci and stuff.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he just went without me because he has a passport. I was like, no.
That makes sense.
We had
Okay.
tickets and everything. So
I had a trip planned to Europe with my father. My father's never traveled abroad, and he's like, "You go all the time. I want to go." So I planned this whole Europe trip, and then we made our last payment, and then they canceled everything. I was like, "No." So
Bro,
I mean, I've traveled
fine.
recently. My friend and I went to Panama and Costa Rica, so Central America is pretty easy to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never been to Africa. It's really one of the places I want to go because it's, to me, and I've never been there, so you can prove me wrong, but I just feel like it's different than most places.
Yeah.
So that's why I need to see at least every continent once, just to see it. That includes Antarctica.
Gotta experience it.
I feel like Ethiopia and for some reason like Venice, Italy are 2 of the most like, whoa, this is a completely different place that I've ever been to. Because like Ethiopia, it's the culture shock. It's like a very different, but then like Venice, it's just people living on canals. It's like out of Star Wars. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's those are my 2 like, whoa, you go to some places and it all kind of gets homogenous, but I think those are my 2 favorite.
I've never been to Italy, and I was supposed to go to Venice, and so now I'm sad.
Oh,
That's okay. No, it's okay. I'm going to go. I'm going.
Yeah.
You'll find time.
I'll find time.
You always do. You'll be looking at flights tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Well, my next trip's Ireland, so I'm going there first.
That's true. Then Berlin.
Yeah, my friend wants to go to Berlin. Well, but you should come with us, Andy. We could do a
Yeah.
podcast from
I know
there.
I should. That would be fun.
Do you know that Andy doesn't even have a passport?
Oh, shh.
Shh.
You weren't supposed to say that on.
Okay, I'll take it. No, it's. I mean, not. You'll be surprised how many people don't have passports. But the problem
It's
is,
just one of those things. I never ended up getting one. So I'm.
yeah, until you need it.
Yeah, until I need it. So hopefully soon. Hopefully in the next week or so.
No, you're gonna get it. Damn it.
Yeah, we'll get it.
I'm going to take this show on the road. Well,
You
Mr.
guys gotta
AJ
do the
was.
global edition. Yeah,
That'd be so
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, hanging
that would be cool.
with Mike and Andy around the world.
around the world.
Globe edition. I love it. Andy, you really look like an angel from heaven. That background is so cool.
Thank you. I am an angel, actually.
I'm not really sure. Well, we're not gonna make a documentary about you though. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you could. Why not? You don't know my life.
That is true. That is true.
Andy, what's the pitch? What's the pitch for the documentary on your life? What's the log line?
Pitch. What is It is go fast and never stop moving.
Dude.
That's the pitch. And then you can make with what you got to make it with, you know. You follow me around
Again, no pressure. Right?
yeah, exactly. You can follow me around with the camera and we'll just see if you can catch up.
That's actually really funny. I like that idea.
We'll drop it on a poster and set a release date. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We should just make a poster. We'll just make a poster and see what kind of feedback we get on it. People go, "That movie looks amazing," but it's never going to be a movie. I love it. I mean, it might be a movie. That's not what I'm saying. So. Any words of advice you want to give to the audience before we pay our tab and close out for the day? Since we're hanging out.
Well, if I had one piece of advice, I would say if you really want to have your faith restored in humanity, watch this film, watch what Dr. Samuel's doing. If you want to feel extra good, go to thaf.org/blindness or theendofblindness.com.
Yeah. Get
involved, donate. $50 can help someone see again. That's like less than some meals. You know, you go out to a fancy restaurant, you spend $50. You could use that money to help somebody see today. And
especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and it's going to a great cause.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Because easily if the three of us went out, we'd be spending $50. But that puts things in perspective. It's like we go out for a night, we just have a couple of drinks, it's $50. But people literally need that to see. It's such a, when you look at it like that, you're like, wow, what a perspective.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, my friend. We're gonna put all of your everything in the show notes so people can check it out. We wish you so much success with this project and pretty much every project in the future. I'm open to hanging out with you in person, and I'm open to having you on the show again when you do more awesome things.
Yeah, drop me a line and let's connect. This was super fun. I loved hanging with you guys.
Oh no, there's definitely a lot of line drops.
We
I
love
love it. All right, well, we'll stay there. But this is Michael Colon,
and this is Andrew Giarusso,
and you're listening to Hangin with Mike and Andy.
See ya.